Oh, Leo, you guys are listening to me to find out more about February 2026. And this is for your sun, moon, and rising sign in the sign of Leo. So, one thing I want to talk about is the destiny portal opening up, making for the beginning of a wave of change that's going to occur in your long term primary love relationships as well as business partnerships, as well as the timing for a huge amount of attention to come into your life in the month of February regarding your career and finances as well. So we're going to break it down for you as we look at this month ahead, week by week, so that you can keep track of this month and time your best month for this year. But if you want to also kind of maybe time your best life, I do have videos that I've created for your sign individually, or you can buy all 12 called the All Signs Bundle. Each of these videos is over 2 hours long. There's a PDF guidebook, 26 pages written by me for the kind of cheat sheet of the year ahead when the events are happening. And if you want that kind of time your best year content, I have the sale price still going on. I extended the December sale price through into the month of January and February because I've been hearing about so many friends and customers and clients and people I know just going like life is expensive lately. Inflation is up. So I just said, let's keep the price where it is. So go ahead and grab it in the description box below. If you're an intermediate level astrologer, come study with me. I'll be teaching my divine timing masterclass, some advanced timing tools from the ancient world coming up. Likely I'll be teaching it in March. It could be April, probably March, but whatever it is, the description box below has the sign up link. Why would you want to get on it? Early bird discount code and early notice when the doors open. All right, let's get rolling. Let's get started. Here we go. Going to show you the sky, and we're going to talk about that destiny portal because it's an eclipse through the Leo Aquarian axis. It's starting to open up in this year ahead. And that's going to change your reality. Leos, you aren't looking like yourself anymore. You are changing it up. Leo sun in 26, you're changing your career. Leo and purpose, Leo moon, your home and life, where you live, and Leo rising, your whole character in the simulation is up for a rewrite, like a big rewrite. And it's going to also impact the people you are with, particularly a long-term love partner. If you don't have one, you're probably getting one. And so we're going to break it down. Of course, you're not going to get the partner in February, but it's going to be a door that opens up. So let's get going. Let me show you the sky and let's get started. And let me just clear all the junk off my screen so I don't linger on my mess, which is a mess. And here we have it. So Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's get started. Each of these videos is about 30 minutes long, a little less, a little more, who knows? But let's see what we get for you. You'll notice that this is the Leo glyph right here on the 9 a.m. position. That's how you find your sign if you're always confused when I'm on YouTube and you're in the premiere and you say, what sign are we on? We're on the sign that you see at the 9 a.m. position. If you learn your glyphs, you'll know where we are. So sun sign, career, purpose, moon, home, and nest. Yeah, rising, your simulation avatar. If you want to think of the sun sign as your actor, like the true you, the actor who plays the role of the Leo ascendant, right? The rising sign is the role you're playing in life. The sun is the character who plays the role, the more true you. Okay. So as we go ahead and look at the sky, you're going to notice something happening before we even get into the entirety of the month. And that as we head into February, and I'm going to take us right back by a day, February 1st, there is a lunation. Okay. And I lost your sign, but that's not a big deal. I'll fix it. There's a lunation coming up in your sign. This is the moon. It'll be on February 1st. It'll be at 13 degrees of the sign of Leo. And it's going to be a fulfillment moon, a completion moon that has been in place for 6 months because last year in Leo season, so, end of July into third week of August, we had a new moon there. And that kind of vibration means that you are literally completing a intentional seed planting for Leo rising about your identity in the simulation, who your character looks like and what it does. And for you, sun signs about career and purpose and moon signs about home and emotions. And yet at the same time, a fulfillment at moon is like the fruit is on the bough ready to drop and you can harvest it. Yet at the same time, it can also be the end, right? The end of a growing cycle. It's the height of the cycle. And then from here, it just goes downhill and the leaves fall off the tree, so to speak. So keep that cycle in mind. You're fulfilling something and you're completing something at the same time. And it's almost a echo or a foreshadow of the eclipse that's going to occur when we experience an eclipse in Leo in the summer, August 12th of 2026 at 20 degrees. And so I want you to remember that some of the reverb of the eclipse that's coming is washing back from the eclipse to this full moon. So it's more than just any old full moon. It's connected to a place where eclipses are going to begin to occur. Now, this isn't a cycle for you as well, in which as we move through January 21st and into March, because of Mars's entry into this stellium, right, all these planets in one place, this is where your focus will have been. You could probably say to yourself, as early as February 21st, January 21st, you begin to focus on your seventh house. Who is that? Your marriage partner? Like a long-term committed monogamous partner of love? It doesn't matter, legal, married or not. Business partners. And then if you have an audience, a marketplace, clients, and people you serve in the public, 10th house from your 10th, you've been focused a lot on those people as well. And doing that focus point for so long, like let's say roughly mid-January, by the time you get into February, you might be tired of all of this other people and all the demands that they have placed upon you. As the sun, the ruler of your sign, is in the house of other people. This is tiring for a Leo. This is very disabling for a Leo, especially because the sun is the ruler of Leo, you see. And so you are kind of depleted in attention to the agendas of other people, whether it's your spouse, any significant others really, but mostly spousal relationship, customers, clients, business partners, etc. So keep in mind that that's how you enter into February. And this full moon is going to allow you to make changes to that dynamic of self and other in your marriage and other partnership agreements and other significant relationships as well. Now, as we continue into the month, the next thing that occurs after the full moon is Uranus will head into direct motion. Now, there's a lot of surprises this month, because of Uranus being activated continually by other planets. You're going to see that those surprises are in the career space, right up here. Uranus is stationing direct later in the month. But as we start February, I should say he is stationing direct on February 4th. And you've been living with Uranus in your 10th house of career, reputation, visible actions in the world, ever since 2018, May. And he's leaving here for good on April 26th. And he won't be back for 80 years. So this is the end of a long journey of erratic, disruptive, inventive, outside the box energy in your career space. And you might have started a different career path after 2018 that's completely radically different than anything you've ever done. I often talk about my Leo's son. She left nursing and she used her son here to become a Reiki healer and to work in the digital media landscape with me as my part of my staff. But you could see that you might find that this is a relief that he's finally leaving, because there's nothing steady and predictable about Uranus in the 10th house, right? Your career space keeps radically changing, or ups and downs, or radical shifts of direction, or unexpected pitfalls, or unexpected highs. It's just not predictable and regular energy in a sign that's fixed and wants to be predictable and regular. Your 10th house. You are a fixed sign, Leo. You don't like radical, neck wrenching, sudden 180-degree spins and turns, right? Like you don't like that normally. You like to know where you're going. So having this energy leave on the 26th of April will feel good to you. But as he stations direct, he happens to be on Algol. There's two things about that. It can be a wealth star, but it can be a star of decapitation. Now, when we look at decapitations in the 10th house, we think about, being fired, or your job, quitting your job, losing your head, or some major disruption in the workspace. So keep that in mind. However, the good news about Uranus is he's going to be activated by many, many planets, including Venus, the lord of that sign. And so there's something good trying to happen, as there are some wrenching and unexpected turns of direction probably coming up in your career between February 4th and April the 26th. And so let's see what happens. On February the 5th, the first of 4 planets to square Uranus, square spring change, okay, dramatic and pressure cooker change. Mercury squares Uranus from the house of your marriage. Now 10th house is your reputation, right? So it can be, I'm divorced, I'm widowed, I'm married, I'm single, your social standing. And there is a square from the marriage house, and it is very intense energy because it's a square. And so there can be some announcements that are coming from your spouse, that could be like shocking or surprising, or, and influence your stature of your relationship. Where are you in this relationship? Like, hey, honey, I want a divorce, or hey, honey, I want to get married, or hey, honey, I don't have any money. Hey, honey, I maxed out the credit cards. I'm going with the money story because Saturn rules your marriage house, and he's in the house of shared resources with a marriage partner and banking and loans and taxes. So there could also be some shocking revelations around money and your partnership in love and marriage. If you're single, then you could get asked out on a date, or you could get a bended knee marriage proposal on this one. Yeah, okay. Because of Venus's co-presence with Mercury. This is going to be on February the 5th. On February the 6th, Mercury will finally move out of the sign of Aquarius, where he's been for about 3 weeks. And he will move forward, and he will gallivant into your money house. Now, this is called chunky money in the sense that you don't earn it. It's unearned income and shared resources with others financially. In-laws are here. Also, the money you share with a spouse. Also, money from inheritances. Sometimes this can involve money liberated from real estate sales, and this can property sale. And this can also be money that you get because you have ad income, royalty income, shareholders and stocks, sharing the resources of the publishing company. You get the idea. You just don't make this money on the everyday. It's not your direct earned income. And now we have Mercury here, and he's kind of like the accountant, but he's all confused because he's in Pisces. So this is where I don't think you want to try to do things without making sure that you read the fine print and you have someone doubling down on checking your numbers, but this could put you in accounting mode. But here's the news, like checking your books, looking at your resources, investment monies. The problem is he's going to be here a long time. He's going to be here till mid-April. I know if it's a problem, it's just a situation. And he's going to be amplified by the North Node. And so there's something about his journey through your 8th house. When it comes to your finances, Saturn is trying to keep things stable, right? Which is good. And he'll be here until the 14th of February. But you definitely want to be careful about making money decisions or whatever without really, really having to go over the money situation with a fine-tooth comb. And that's not going to happen as naturally as it should with Mercury here in the sign of his debility. Okay. Also, if you were born with Mercury here, they would say Firmicus Maternus 2,000 years ago said, hey, you are like the astrologer priest to the king. Right. But in our modern day, it turns out you're very psychic, but you're not born with it. But it's going to open up your doors of psychic perception, clairaudient, clairvisual, clairsentient, take your pick. And so your clear knowingness is going to increase here. And this is kind of, I talk to dead people, but I also channel angels, and I'm in touch with other dimensions. And so Mercury's perceptual mind power here takes you into the occult mysteries. And you might want to learn, study, or deepen that part of your life through to mid-April. And so keep that in mind too. Now, when we look at and he will retrograde. That's why he's here for so long. I'll get to that when we get to that point in the month. But the retrogradation and his long stay here means that you're spending a lot of time with looking at the occult mysteries or your money or your partner's money. And one more thing about that. This definitely could involve partner's money, all right? Because until mid-February, Saturn's here. Lord of the marriage house. So you and partner and money between about February the 6th to the 14th is a very intense bit of time for you, okay? It may involve taxes as well and figuring stuff out there. And then we move into the next story. So this is the first week, February 1 to 7. We just covered that. And now we're going to go from about the 7th to the 14th. You'll see that as Mercury already squared Uranus on the 5th of February, Venus does it next around the 8th. Now, Venus is a good planet. We call her a benefic. Here's 27-degree Uranus now direct in your 10th house of career, and there's Venus moving towards a square from the marriage house. Sometimes this can also be contractual agreements and legal contracts where she's sitting. So you might be looking at a positive development, but you're still surprised if it's unexpected around a legal contract connected to a work opportunity or career or public opportunity. But legal contracts can also be divorce settlements or marriage contracts. And there's something going on here, big and intense energy for you, likely germinating around February the 8th. Okay, so it starts to build up around the 6th and the 7th. I think it's pretty exact on the 8th. Well, on the 7th, 8th is pretty exact. So Venus is a benefic. She'll do her best with whatever the surprise is. She rules your 10th house of career, so it could be a career surprise. And she rules your 3rd house of siblings and short distance travel. So there may be opportunities in career for short distance travel or travel connected to siblings, for example. She also rules your online world, and some changes are coming that are positive but surprising in your online social media sphere as another option. Certainly, if you're a single Leo and you wanted to take a date on this guy, you could do that. Okay, you could take a date and see what happens. But it is a complicated sky, and you're baking in that kind of shock and awe. So I might steer clear of a first date on this time frame, 7th, 8th of February. All right, unless you're going to date the boss. That could be, oh my God, the boss is saying he's into you, somebody in authority in the career space is making the moves. All right, that's February 8th, 7th, 8th. On February the 10th, we'll see Venus now leave behind her 7th house of long-term committed love, clients, audience, and marketplace, legal contracts, and move into your 10th house. There she goes. Now you see a lot of energy building up in your 8th house, taking your attention away from the stuff that dominated mid-January, right, till now. And we see that the stellium is down to 3 planets. So some your attention's going where the North Node is. You want to focus on that financial situation or the deep mysteries and occult arts, tarot, numerology, astrology, maybe learning some of that, maybe deepening your psychic abilities in and from your home base or something. But there's a lot going on about both of those things that are really building up right now. Venus will spend a while in that sign until March the 6. So you're going to have her here for quite a long time. When it comes to money, she's exalted and therefore protective of your financial situations, loans, mortgages, investments, credit cards, banking, insurance payouts, tax situations. And I'd say she's very protective now, even though Mercury's confused. She's giving you a protective edge here and maybe increasing your chunky money as well, beginning on February the 10th through to March the 6th. And there's a premium on selling land, property, and real estate, by the way, later on. I'll get to that near the end of this video, buying or selling. Okay, then we look at the next story from February 10th. This is going to look like Mercury bumping into the North Node of Destiny and Fate in your 8th house. You can see he's getting ready to crash headlong into the Node of Fate. And when he does that, around here, it's going to be on the 11th and 12th, he's going to be giving you information or news, which he's prone to do, or understanding or details about your money. End of story. It could be you get back the tax accounting, situation for your taxes. You could be you get some kind of investment information or news coming through. Now, the North Node is increase in destiny and volumes things up. Mercury is information or news. And Venus is bonification, meaning I'm trying to make it good for you. Okay. So don't be afraid of whatever this is coming through the sky on around the 11th and 12th of the month. Now, this could be also information about in-laws and their monies, or information about your spouse and his or her money coming through on the 11th and 12th. Now, it looks like the Venus, now that she's firmly established in this part of the sky with Mercury, is getting ready to, take a relaxation break. Well, we see that as we move into the 14th to the 21st, we're ready for another narrative. And the 14th to the 21st big story is Saturn moving for the first time in 30 years into Aries full-time occupation. So Saturn is going to take up full-time occupation of the Aries sky beginning on Valentine's Day, February 14th, be here for 3 whole years until 2028. And he kind of did this before. He did this in like April of 1960, April of 1960. Oh my God. April of 1996 to February of 1999. That's the last time Saturn moved through this part of the chart. So if you can remember that time of your life, you might get some clues of what could be going on this time. And what is your ninth house? Academics, colleges, campuses, foreign lands and foreign travel, legal and court matters, churches, religious and spiritual philosophy, dharma, meaning, purpose of life. Spiritual advisors. It's a lot of stuff up there. The house of God. Now, Saturn would give you an involvement in a traditional religion if he can, but he's in pioneering Aries. So that kind of takes us the energy and shifts it a bit. But there's definitely some possibility of finding some structure around spiritual ideology and faith over the next 3 years. And Neptune says spiritual but not religious, but also oceanic consciousness, ideal placement for getting book publishing deals, authorships, making fiction writing happen, bringing creative or fiction or very spiritual writing into the forefront of your life. Also could open up some possibilities for major changes in your life connected to foreign people, foreign places, and foreign lands in order for you to work, because Saturn rules your work house, job and work house. And therefore, you might be looking at some changes also in your marital status, including separation of assets in front of a court or a judge. So marriage changes and work changes, and maybe judges and courts and also foreign lands. We'll cover that in more depth on my channel in a standalone video. So if you like this kind of deep dive content, please like and subscribe. This is just the overview. But you're going to get used to him here. He's not going away until 2028, and you're building something up in this part of your chart. If you want to be like a hand of the king, you know what I mean? This can be very useful for getting administrative jobs or close to power, like the power behind the power, humanitarian NGO organizations, international humanitarian stuff for job and work could appeal to you greatly, or working in a foreign country from the one of your birth. And sometimes Saturn here would be getting the passports and the visas to do that. Sorry about that clunking ice, guys. Okay. And then Saturn has ingressed into Aries with Neptune. And next thing we see that happens after that, because we're talking now Valentine's Day, right, is you're going to notice that right away the sun will square Uranus. Another surprise. These are the surprises. Sun at 26 degrees, Uranus at 27, feeling it on the 13th, 14th, and 15th of February. Well, we had this already, guys. We had it with Venus on February 8th, and then with before that, Mercury on February 5th. So we keep getting these like shocks or unexpected surprises or radically, left field developments. But because it's the sun who rules you, right? It's your planetary ruler. It's going to feel very personal, but it may be coming from that client, the audience member, the public, your fans, your business partner, or your significant other. In fact, this is the problem with this, is a lot of this is coming to you courtesy of other people this month ahead. And it could be one other person, like a spouse, right? I mean, this could be getting, divorce papers served, or you're serving them, or there's something going on in your spousal relationships. You could be applying pressure to a spouse to cut, end, and sever the relationship, because Mars cuts and severs, and Sun is the ruler of you in the marriage house. Pluto is death. So there's a lot going on here. If you're in a toxic relationship, by the time we get to this part of the sky with Saturn, with Pluto, Mars, and Sun together, that's the narcissist trio. So if you are in any kind of relationship that really isn't working because you think your partner's self-absorbed or has, a lot of controlling tendencies or even aggression, unfortunately, this could be a time of fracture in the relationship and a public announcement that you're done, or the world's going to see that you guys are getting separated or divorced. And this is around 13th, 14th, 15th of the month, 16th of the month. Now, that's just one way it can go. There's a lot of ways. An unexpected job contract that shocks you or something. So don't just put it down to one story, please. Alrighty. On the February 16th, 17th, now we have good news. I'm glad you're happy to hear that. Here's some of that. Because Mercury around the 15th, 16th, 17th will be in a trine to Jupiter. Mercury is the word news or information or understanding or ideas, and Jupiter is good. Goodness here. Jupiter's goodness as he retrogrades is from the 12th house. ashram, solitude, hospitals, inheritances. Now, unfortunately, the downside of this could be some money coming to you through inheritances or other sources of bounty that are not directly earned by you. But another element of this can be some information about money coming from a foreign land or distant shore or far off place. Mm-hmm. And possibly from a sibling, money connected to a sibling coming your way as well. But the idea of the good news that you're getting in this part of the sky is that it is a trine relationship between Jupiter and Mercury. And the North Node just amplifies the extension of the potential for worldly success in what is fundamentally a money house. So I think you're going to come into a likelihood of a bit of a boon or a bounty, but maybe it's connected to people also, not just in hospitals where Jupiter is, but far off shores and distant lands, Could be an opportunity with Venus here to get involved. Well, you can get financing for school, like get a good news. You got a bursary, a scholarship, some kind of funding to go to university or college, but also secret lover relationships happen when we get Venus in the 8th house, hidden and secret destined love relationships. Jupiter says, from somebody in a distant shore or far off land. And if that is a relationship, because Jupiter is your romance house, right? Ruler of that, and he's exalted in the house of distant places. If you're having a secret love relationship, whether you're with someone, like in other words, you're having a infidelity on your marriage, or you're just alone, but you don't want to tell anybody about it, this still could be a very good relationship for you, despite the fact it's under wraps. So secret love affairs looks like a possibility of a development coming through the sky around just after Valentine's Day, February 15th, 16th, and 17th, to be precise. On the 17th, the destiny portal opens as we have our first eclipse in the Aquarius sky. The understanding of the Aquarius sky for you is it's your marriage house. The last time eclipses moved through your marriage house was 2008 to 2009, as well as August of 1989 to July of 1991. So what was happening in the marriage scene back then, if you had a marriage, right? How was that going for you? Because as soon as we get eclipses in the marriage house, we get change and destined change in the marriage house. Possibly for some of you, because it's a North Node eclipse cycle and you're already married, you're already in a relationship. There's the North Node eclipses in Aquarius have a desire to volume up the relationship, to increase the relationship, make it more worldly and successful. And, it looks to me like as a reader for years, it's like your marriage is root bound and the roots are suffocating in a pot that's too small. You've got to get a bigger pot and more soil for the relationship to grow. And that could be more space, more time apart, a new form, like moving in together, getting married illegally, whatever. But there's something, it's got to grow or it's going to die, right? So, ride or die, no, grow or die. So if this relationship can't inflate or grow into something bigger, then what happens is it will end. So all eclipses have a potential of like literally eclipsing something, the relationship. This is the first eclipse. There will be more next year, more precise eclipse next winter as well. So this is a story that's going to roll out through 2027 as well. This eclipse is a hybrid because we actually have the node in the house of shared money, while the eclipse is in the marriage house. Now, this can be a relationship challenge based on financial matters between you and your partner. All right. I don't think this is an eclipse that invites in a new relationship unless it's a secret love affair. Secret love affairs that are romantic and hot and sexy and hidden. Yes. Otherwise, no. Then it's going to be ideally not used for a new relationship rather than it's going to rattle the cage of an existing relationship. And it doesn't just rattle the cage on February 17th, the day of the eclipse, okay, when the moon will be with the sun at 28 degrees. It's going to rattle the relationship sector of your chart, and business partnerships, all the way through about a month and a half before the eclipse. You're already feeling it, and all the way up until at least 6 months after. You're feeling it, if not a year. Solar eclipses tend to germinate a year of change. So I'm just giving you a heads up on how to handle it. 2008, 2009, you survived. Or not, 89 to 91, you survived or not. But be clear that Pluto is here and he wasn't here ever before, right? Ever before. Nor will he be here again. It's 240-year, 8-year transit. So this is going to bring death, transformation, and rebirth. This is a very intense time in your significant long-term committed love relationship. I'm going to give you that. Going to give you that. Mars brings separation, right? And Mars has been in this part of the chart that is your significant other all through January. So it's, well, most of January, mid-January to beginning of March. It could just give you a geographical separation from a significant other. And that's all it is. But it can also cut, sever, and end relationships through hardship and challenges. So caution to the relationship zone, but eclipses are destined change portals where you don't have control. Now, it is also on the eclipse day, the 17th, Venus will co-join the North Node. Venus in the North Node is a bonification of the node. So this malefic quality of Rahu is tamed by Venus, and Venus's goodness is amplified by Rahu. Okay, so the combination is positive. Venus is money in a money house, increase, and a volume up is the North Node. Mercury is news or transactions or negotiations or contracts connected to money and good things happening. It looks good. I know, I don't think it looks bad to me. It looks good. And it could be also money connected to siblings, money connected to travel, money connected to online social media, writing, communicating, money connected to your career space as well. So there's this money story going on. And it looks very positive for you at this time, even though the North Node is involved in that eclipse. See, that eclipse brings in the money you share with a partner and the partnerships itself. Now, when I talk about that North Node Venus energy on the 17th, you'll feel it a couple of days before and a couple of days after. On the 20th, grand reset button, these two guys come together and become one. We haven't seen them at 0 degrees of Aries in a union for 6,000 years, but they did join here in 1703 in another degree. Long story short, this is the real beginning. The starter pistol is on. This is your journey through till 2028. It will close out on, the exact date will be, looking at my old system of notes from my year ahead, it will finally close down on, I know I wrote that down in here somewhere. Yeah, well, it'd be nice if I could find it when I'm looking for it, but that's my luck. I can't see where I wrote it down. But just trust me, it's 3 years. 3 years. Oh, April of 2028. Okay. So April of 28. So you've got Saturn here to April of 28 and Neptune, Saturn both. So I would say it's like, what dreams do you wish to make real from the very fortunate flow of a fire trine to your sign when it comes to meaning and purpose in life? Writing, publishing, book publishing, academics, foreign lands travel, humanitarian endeavors, and spiritual truth and knowledge and religion and ideology. Okay. Also good for mastering the art of being the vice president of a country, or second in command, or close to power, but just behind the power. Okay. Being close to power, but the one high up, the executive assistant to the CEO. Okay. Something like that. Something big like that in your industry. Moving on. So after that, we see that we have a new week, the 21st to the 28th. We're going to talk about that next, the third week of the month. So on the 21st to the 28th, what we're going to see is Venus. Sorry, is Mars. Oh, Venus. I got that right. Venus will trine Jupiter. Well, this is good as well. Just like it was good news on the 16th, 17th when Mercury trine Jupiter. Now Venus is doing the same damn thing, but she's exalted and she's trining exalted Jupiter. So exaltation, exaltation, and there's another exaltation. Watch this. And then the moon. This is your rainbow and unicorn mini grand trine full of exalted moon, exalted Jupiter, and exalted Venus. I love this. Is a great week, guys. This is going to be Sunday, February 22nd, where it's pretty exact. You're going to start to feel this energy on the 20th to the 23rd, heightened up to the top of the story on the 22nd. Could be a golden career opportunity connected to far off lands and distant shores, a beautiful golden exalted opportunity for some chunky money connected to father figures. This can include money from divorce settlements or whatever. This is a golden financial opportunity connected to a learning environment, an ashram, a spiritual teacher. There's a golden opportunity for some public recognition in a surprising way, connected to your knowledge and wisdom. Whatever it is, it's mostly going to involve money. If you ask me, Venus is a money goddess in a money house. The moon at the top of the sky gives your reputation a boost for sure. And you could benefit vis-a-vis the exalted moon in a collateral way, right? From the 12th house. This is digital income, borderless revenue, working for a foreign company, money coming from foreign people, and a nice little uptick here as well. So look for the February 22nd boost. It's a day before and after. You should be feeling pretty swell. Alrighty, then we move into the 25th to the 28th of February. In that time frame, Mars will square Uranus. Mars square Uranus is the last of 4 planets squaring Uranus. Let me recap that. Mercury on February the 5th squared Uranus. Venus did the same thing February 8th. The sun did it next. Everyone's hitting on Uranus on the 16th, 15th, 16th. And now finally, the last unexpected development, Mars squares Uranus, 25 to 28th of the month. Mars wants to decide, choose, end, cut, sever, separate. Marriage, business partners, audience, clients, people you serve, cut, snip, cut, sever, end, choose, decide, go to battle over it. Uranus, shock and surprise. You could just quit a career. You could end fully a job or career path. Your partner could lose their job or quit their job. Especially given that Mars rules the 10th house of your marriage partner. So this can be the end of your marriage partner's work. They get fired or they quit their job, for example. There can be a radical breaking in your relationship. Now you just have these two here, death, rebirth, and separating and cutting. So shock and awe and public declarations of it's over, sayonara. So keep that in mind. Oh dear. Oh dear. Otherwise, don't get involved in a new relationship under the sky. You still might be having your secret love affair over here, but don't go all hog wild on announcing something to the world, because the sky that you're under in the significant long-term love house is very, very uncomfortable. And Jupiter rules your romance house and he's in aversion. So I would steer clear of dating even during this, because I think more likely something could be coming to an end than something should be starting up. February 25th to the 28th. On February 26th, Mercury will head retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. Watch that. Now, to go to retrograde, he has to station. So he will be stationing on February 26th, meaning that you'll see that he's staying at 22 degrees, which is supposedly a malefic degree. I think it's the killer be killed degree. There he is, 22 degrees, February 26th, but he's been at that degree for 3 days beforehand. So there's a potent, intense energy that Mercury is giving off, okay? It's like the guy is like a powder keg of something, and he's in a shared resources and money house. Remember that. He's going to retrograde for 3 weeks. So he'll be there retrograding from February 26th to March the 20th. And so now you're going to go backtracking, changing your mind, revising or revisioning financial matters for most of you. That's some of you might be revising your occult novel or something, but most of you will be revising money things, primarily money that you don't earn. Taxes, tax revisions, investment strategies changing, money with your in-laws or spouse changing strategies, revising, looking at it deeper. After the 20th of March to mid-April, after all the rethinking, revisioning, and going backwards, you're going to go forward again. And then you're going to finalize all this money with someone else, right? By mid-April. That's how long it takes him to get out of there, as I mentioned earlier. Finally, when he is stationing to go retrograde at 22 degrees, you'll see how he's really close to Venus. So he's going to bump right into her. Like he's going to crash headlong into her. But just before that happens, the sun will co-join the North Node. So here we have it already. So Sun North Node, major destined fated money stories can be playing out connected to solar energy, which is you. You are that. Sun also does exalt your 9th house. So an increase of money in a lucky way connected to foreign people, foreign places, publishing, book publishing, contractual agreements, legal decrees. And then the two crash into each other and we're done. Kaboom. So Mercury will be going into Venus, and Venus will be going into Mercury on the 28th. The two of them will become a uniplanet right here. Hang on. You'll feel it on, because Mercury's retrograde. Yeah, I passed it already. It's on the 28th. So around the 28th, okay? So around February 28th, you'll feel Mercury retrograding into Venus and into the 27th, 28th. Yeah. Excuse me, 28th, 27th, 28th. Mercury and Venus are becoming one. And I guess I could say to you, at a simple way of interpreting that, is good news or positive news or fortunate news or fortunate negotiations. And Mercury is the ruler of a sibling house, a travel house. And Mercury is also the ruler of your house of career gains and windfalls and pennies from heaven. Doesn't look like a lottery win, though, but in negotiating money with siblings, one older or one younger, or siblings in general, and favoring you, yes. Okay, but it is going to be tax season for a lot of people, and this is tax stuff, so things should go well. Venus is protecting you, and this is good news, right? The government says you're paid too much, let's give you a rebate. Or your accountant says, I got a strategy to reduce your taxes, or something good is trying to happen here. Okay. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. I put out a lot of videos. I mean, I really do. And also you can check out the old Substack where I write on the Pluto Chronicles weekly world astrology reports, and monthly, and I do not mince words. No one can get rid of me over there, because they can't deplatform me and demonetize me and shadow ban me. So check me out on Substack, Pluto Chronicles. Check me out on Patreon where I teach classes. Join my button here and become a member of YouTube where I have live streams and teaching stuff, little mini classes I just drop down there for you, and also give you my thoughts about some controversial topics as well in the unmonetized and private members videos, right, where I can talk more freely. So check that out as well. I hope to see you guys on my members platform. I'm a little behind there right now because I'm recording 12 videos over 3 days, but you'll see me there soon. Ciao, ciao, guys. Bye-bye.